Today we're going to be talking about how to create a wildly successful public relations campaign. And we're going to be using as our case study the O2 for You campaign that we created for Costa Farms. And we are waiting for, we had a little glitch, as y'all may have recognized. So we're waiting for Marta Maria Garcia and Justin Hancock to join us from Costa Farms. So while we're waiting for them, why don't we introduce ourselves, because I see there are two people on here that we don't know. David. Oh, somebody just jumped off. I guess I don't want to talk. David, we don't know you, but you're a landscape designer, I understand. And there's Steve Aspel. How are you, Steve? Oh, we can't hear you. Is your Google muted?
Looks like David's mic is acting up too.
All right.
Here we go.
Good, there you are. And we have Justin Hancock, who's on the phone talking to somebody important, and Marta Maria Garcia. So let's get started. So today we have our guest. I'm so happy to have Marta Maria Garcia and Justin Hancock. Marta is one of our all-time favorite clients. She pushes us, she makes us be more creative, and she supports us with all of her great marketing team in Florida. And with her is Justin Hancock. Marta, want to say hello? Can you hear me, Marta? There's Marta. And with her is Justin Hancock from from Costa Farms now. Justin is Costa's new garden expert. Formerly, for 10 years, he was, many of you may know him from Better Homes and Gardens. So Justin brings a lot of to the table on his knowledge about plants, his love of plants, and his knowledge about the consumer. So we're going to start today with asking Marta some questions. But first, before we get going, Steve, you want to tell us a little bit about who you are?
Yeah. I'm a blogger, writer, and illustrator. Have a blog called The Rainforest Garden, and I just finished writing my book called Plant by Numbers about houseplants and combining them.
Great. Well, you're perfect for this. And you are in Jacksonville, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're in Florida as well. And David, can we hear you yet?
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you. Wonderful. So you are a landscape designer?
That's correct. In Northern Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C.
Great. So do you use houseplants or tropicals in your landscape designing?
Not as yet. We're in hardiness zone 7. I haven't done any interior design work. Often clients will ask for like a tropical feel, but that's less tropical plants and more foliage texture and that sort of thing.
Good. Well, maybe we'll give you some new tricks to add to your offerings today by helping your customers bring the outside in with live plants.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Marta, why don't you start us out by giving us a little background about Costa Farms and who they are? Although we can't hear you. Is your microphone muted? Look up at the top. There's a little microphone.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So, yeah, that was going to be hard for you to guys read my lips.
That's right.
So Costa Farms is the largest indoor houseplant producer in North America. We have been in business for over 52 years. The company is currently run by the third generation. We're privately owned. Initially, when the company was established back in 1961, the family started growing tomatoes here in South Florida when they migrated from Cuba. A couple of years into it, they realized that tomatoes were a pretty risky business here in South Florida, so they got into ornamental houseplants. And right now here in Miami, this is the houseplant division where we have over 2,500 acres of most of it shade covered fields where we grow indoor potted houseplants from the size of a 4-inch diameter pot, which is this size, to a 6-inch diameter pot, which is this size. We also grow taller material, but the core of our business lies within the 6-inch potted houseplants for this division.
All righty. So I guess it was 5 or 6 years ago, y'all came to us. We'd worked on a project with Costa for the Norfolk Island pine. Then you came on board with all your marketing expertise from another industry and really wanted to ramp it up. So tell us what was the impetus behind looking for a PR campaign?
Yeah, well, when I joined, I mean, I was thrown a lot of information my way, but the one piece of information that, as I was learning and immersing myself in this industry, that was thrown my way was the NASA study of the benefits of indoor houseplants. And I had the privilege at that time to sit down with the second generation, Tony Costa, who is now retired. Yeah, that's the book. Actually, that's like probably the third edition of the book that I came across. So Tony Costa was gracious enough to kind of give me a little bit of background back in the 80s when they started promoting this message from the NASA study. And then as I immersed myself more in it, aside from the NASA study, I just started bumping across a lot of research that just was all around the benefits of indoor houseplants. Now, back in 2008, if all of you can remember, there was a tipping point happening in just in the macro environment. Aside from the market, you know, and all the economic pressures that were happening, there was a heightened awareness of going green. And it all started, I remember when I saw Al Gore's documentary back in '08. As I was going across all this research, I was watching the Inconvenient Truth. I was just, it was a whole perfect storm of just the right time to come out with this message again. And again, I was just thinking of what could be a cool message to communicate to consumers to get houseplants back in the map. And from my experience in marketing, how did it all begin with PR? You know, I come in here, there's a set amount of money for a company that had never done marketing before. This was all new. And I went back to, you know, my hardcore marketing days in brand management, and I said, what is the most effective use of my dollars? Where I have a good message that I want to get out there, and PR was a natural fit. I had very positive experience with PR in my previous job, and I thought that it was the perfect tactical initiative to pursue because we had a good message, I had limited funding, and I knew that the return on my investment through a PR campaign was going to be greater than, you know, whatever I could do at that time with the money that I had.
So, you know, when we came to you with the O2 for You idea, one of the things that impressed us the most was how quickly you turned around on this idea. I think it was in a matter of about 2 weeks, we had a logo. And that's very unusual, as you know, in our industry to have things happen so quickly. So what was it about the campaign that really resonated with you and that you thought was going to really resonate with the consumer?
Well, when I remember that call that we had, and you guys were presenting the name of the campaign, and you know, at that time, '08 was the start of a very, very big social media revolution, and Twitter was starting to take off, and everything was short codes. And you know, just when we talked about the logo, the one thing that attracted me was it felt very young. And it felt very personalized. And remember back in 2000, at Time Magazine, it was the year of you.
Year of you.
Everything was about you. It was about the consumer. So everything resonated and it felt like the right name to go out in a new fashion to the current target market that we were trying to recruit.
Yep, you're right. I remember when we were in New York City doing one of our guerrilla marketing events, and someone came up to me and they said, "O2 for you, is that Oprah's network?" So we were really shocked how people did not know what the symbol O2 was. So no, we told them that long before Oprah there was oxygen. So
I know, that was Susie's response. That was brilliant.
So Justin, you were at Better Homes and Gardens at the time that we launched O2 for You, and y'all were one of the first people we came to with our story. Can you tell us about your reaction to it and how Better Homes embraced it?
You know, we thought it was fantastic. It was really nice to come and hear the brand pitch in person, and it was exciting. It was very fresh for the industry at the time. You know, there wasn't a lot of new, interesting things coming to the Better Homes and Gardens world. And so it was something that we could really sink our teeth into. We knew that our readership would love it. And it started getting play right away.
Right away. I think we did a video that very morning.
We did?
Yep, we did. So, and y'all gave the brand a lot of great support and pushing out information to the O2 for You website, which I think, Marta, that leads me to one of the other strategies or goals that y'all had as a company was to use the O2 for You message to raise the level of awareness for houseplants across the entire industry.
Yes.
So do you want to talk about that grassroots move strategy?
Yes. Well, when we were building the campaign, and the first year we all agreed that we really wanted to build it from the ground up and constant. So we were just doing grassroots initiatives with you guys in key cities to build the message, and we didn't want to put it outside to take it commercial yet, and we did it on purpose. It was something that we were doing for the industry to the point that the website was o2foryou.org. Really didn't want to put our name behind it. We were funding it, but it was intended as a public service campaign. So the first year and a half, we just invested behind building the message and creating the buzz. To later on roll it out to the retail space, which we knew the retail will get more eyeballs into the message.
Good. All right, let's see. David who has a question? Well, Steve has a question, but do you want to ask yours now, Steve?
It doesn't matter to me.
All right, well, we have a couple of more questions, and then we'll open it up for everybody. So how has the campaign helped build the brand? O2 for You message. How is that? Because at the time, indoor plants were the category was kind of flat.
Yeah. Well, the brand has been able to give a face to the beautiful foliage houseplants. Before they were pretty, they were there, they were in an upgraded container, but now they stood for something. So as we rolled this out to the retail space and we really got, in front of the consumers in the retail environment, the campaign has been able to carve out. It's been so successful, the messaging, that it's been able to carve out during the retail, what we call the retail holiday calendar. We've been able to carve out a window with most of our retailers that during the month of April, which we all celebrate as Earth Month because Earth Day is the 22nd of April, we give emphasis to the potted indoor houseplants through the O2 for You campaign. So for us, that was a humongous win because now, we ship indoor houseplants the entire year, 12 months a year to all of our retailers. But now there was dedicated space in the retailers, either tab, in their, tab is their promotional vehicles that they send out, in the store, not outside the garden center, but inside the box. And now there was dedicated space for us to promote O2 for You and celebrate Earth Day. So that for us was a really big win. And we saw it, okay, so now it's mainstream.
And then we also now...
The other big win for us was, I'm sorry.
You're good. Hey, Delilah.
Okay. No, the other big win for us was before you would not get a word about houseplants. I mean, I get Google alerts on houseplants. I have it set up because I'm interested in knowing what people are talking about with houseplants out there in the web. And in the past 2 years, I have to say that organically, we have seen an increased amount of posts and conversations about the benefits of indoor houseplants, and not prompted by us at all. That for us has been a big win because we really wanted to get houseplants into people's faces, and not only like industry people. We really wanted to break out because we need to recruit new people into this category. So when we started seeing health websites, mommy bloggers, it's just medical experts, everybody just talking about the benefits of houseplants. That for us was a big win. That the campaign has really spread, and it's become now organic conversations that are happening.
Yes.
So we attribute that a lot to the efforts that we dedicated and the investment that we put behind with the PR campaign for 4 to 5 years.
Yes.
We started reaping the benefits of it.
And we really, our strategy, not the first year, but almost from the beginning, was to reach out to the parenting magazines, to the health magazines, to magazines outside of that strictly garden market, so that we could organically bring in more people to the industry. So, Steve, you had a question for Marta?
Yeah. I was when I was researching for the book and everything, I noticed that all the plants that NASA said were the best for oxygen were, of course, ones that were very readily available. Obviously, those are the ones that you've chosen, but are there any other ones that might be less available that would also be good? Because I know there are very specific species or selections, and there could be some that are pretty similar but might also be good that they just didn't include in the study.
Yeah. Listen, we're always evaluating new varieties as they come. That's something that is in the core of our DNA. It's innovations and bringing new and exciting plants into the category. Recently, there has been a UGA study done, and they brought out 5 new houseplants that were the superheroes of the moment. The purple heart plants, the wall plant, English ivy, Hoya, the wax plant, and we're always looking at adjusting our assortments and producing more of those unique varieties. So we can get, with our scale, we can get new and exciting and beneficial plants in front of the consumers. We're always open to testing and seeing mass production, what we can do to ramp up that assortment. And if you have any recommendations on any specific plant, send them our way. Again, we're always looking at, we don't like to keep the same assortment always going out 12 months a year. There is plants that we stick to because they are bread and butter. They are the ones that people go out and ask for by name. Peace lilies is one that every year over year we see amazing performance because consumers do love that as a house plant. But we always want to keep it exciting and interesting, and we try to include new plants into the mix whenever possible.
If you don't mind me expanding that a bit, are the plants that are included, they do have a pretty quick turnaround too when they're produced easily. They're already grown by a lot of the growers you use. So, they are pretty readily available for you guys too.
Yeah. Don't be fooled. Some of those plants, usually the plants that do best in indoor, low light requirement plants, don't be fooled. They are slow growers. We stick to them because they're great performing plants. Sansevieria. They're not the, okay, get it plug it and get it out. I mean, the minimum amount of time is 6 months for any of these plants, and the maximum can go plus 12 months. So we try to always stick to varieties that will perform best, whatever the grow time is. Of course, we want to churn out, and luckily here we're very blessed that we have a lot of space in here in our facility down in Miami, and we have the luxury that we can grow good quality plants that are good for indoor environment here in South Florida, regardless of the grow time.
So, and it's really, I think also, Marta, isn't it the thicker, the broader the leaves, the more absorbent they are. So there are a lot of plants that do work that are not as commercially available, but that are out there.
Yes.
So you can still promote the plant as being, an air scrubber that purifies the air, and there's so many other health benefits of indoor plants that we're going to be talking about more in the next year or two. But you can talk about that with a variety of plants that are better scrubbers than others, better air purifiers.
Yeah, and Susie, we also do a lot of what we call post-harvest research, which is we really what plants are really easy for the consumer to take care of.
Right.
Some of the plants that we all love as collectors and growers, because they're unique, aren't that good plants for the regular users.
Right.
And at the end of the day, we really, as an industry, we need to recruit new gardeners into this industry to continue to grow this beautiful industry. Yeah. And we need to introduce them to the right, it's like training wheels in the bicycle. We need to make sure, and this is something that we here in the marketing department do a lot, we do research with consumers. And we test how they're doing with the plants and what plants are easier to take care of because they require less water. The light requirements are easy. They don't need to be in a high light condition. They can be low light. And we, that's the goal here, that we really want to put, we all love some really beautiful and different plants, but some of those plants are really hard to care for.
And one of the things we also know is that houseplant growers, that's kind of a gateway for them to learn to be successful so that then they can graduate to becoming outdoor gardeners.
Yes, absolutely. That's the way we grab them.
Yep. So I see we have a few more new people here. Are there any questions from any of you all? Nope. Well, Marta and Justin, we really appreciate this. We learned some new stuff here at Garden Media Group. We hope that y'all did too. The purpose of these Hangouts, as always, is to, as Costa did with their O2 for You campaign, raising the bar for the whole industry, we too are trying to share some of our secrets so that we can help grow the gardening industry at large as well. So our Hangout will be posted on our YouTube channel, and we'll be having a Hangout in July, and it will be on launching a new product, and we'll be focusing on the rescue stink bug traps. So it will be a sweet campaign. So Marta and Justin, thank you so much from down there in sunny Florida. It's always a treat to see you all, and thank you all for joining us on our panel. And have a great 4th of July.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye now. Signing off here at the Garden Media Group, Susan McCoy.